Hello and welcome to another Excel tips video. I am Sumit Bansal and in this video I am going to show you how to quickly filter by cell color or font color in Excel. So here I have this data set and I have these cells that are highlighted in green color, and I also have a separate data set here where I have these cells where the font color is different, and I will show you how to filter based on the cell color or the font color. Now there are three methods I'm going to use. Two are going to be the inbuilt filter functionality, and the third method is going to be a VBA function that is going to allow us to filter based on multiple cell colors. So for example, if you want to filter all the records where the color is green as well as orange, then you can use the VBA method. So let's see how to do this. The easiest way to quickly filter based on cell color or font color is to simply go to the cell that has the color, right click on the cell. So in this case, I'm going to click on this cell B2 that has green color, go to the filter option, and then here you have these two options: filter by selected cells color and filter by selected cells font color. Now in this case, I only have the cell color. So the font color is the same for all these cells, but the cell color is different, and I want to filter all these green colored rows. So I would right click on this cell, go to filter, and then here click on filter by selected cells color option. And as soon as I do this, it is going to filter this data based on the cell color of the cell I selected and right clicked. Now if you want to clear this filter, you simply right click on this again, go to this filter option, and then click on clear filter from score, where score is the column name where I applied the filter. Now in case of font color, you again follow the same steps. You right click on the cell based on which cell's font color you want to filter this data. Right click, go to filter, and then click on filter by selected cells font color. And when you do that, it is going to instantly filter your data set and give you all the cells that have the same font color. Now, one thing that you cannot do with this method is you cannot filter based on multiple cell color. For example, here, if I want to filter based on green as well as orange, I will not be able to do this. So if I come here, I right click, I go to filter, filter by cell color. It is only going to give me this cell color. Now there is no option for me to filter based on two colors. However, you can do this using a simple VBA method that I'm going to cover later in this tutorial. Another quick way to filter by color is by using the inbuilt filter functionality. So here in this case, I want to filter all the green colored rows. So I would select any cell in this data set. I would go to the data tab here in the ribbon and then click on the filter icon. And when I do that, it is going to apply filter to the header row. You can see these filter icons appear in the column headers. Now you can also use the keyboard shortcut Control Shift L. So you hold the Control and the Shift key and you press the L key, and it is going to apply the filter. And if you use it again, it is going to remove the filter. Now, once you have the filter applied, you click on this icon for the column based on which you want to filter. And here you would see this option filter by color, and it is only going to appear when you have any color here. So when I hover the cursor over filter by color, you'll see that there is this green color which is there in this column. So when I click on it, it instantly filters based on this color. And if I want to remove the filter, then I click on this again, and then I come here and click on clear filter from score, where score is the column name. Similarly, if you want to filter based on font color, you again apply the filter. So you can go to the data tab and then click on filter, or you can use the keyboard shortcut Control Shift L and then click on this icon in the header. Then again go to filter by color, and in this case you see filter by font color. Earlier we saw filter by color because that was cell color. In this case this is font color. If you have both cell color and font color, both would appear here. And then when I click on this, it filters based on the font color. So again, very simple, very quick. So you can either use the right click method that I showed earlier, or you can use this method where you first apply the filter and then you filter based on the cell color or font color. Now let me show you how to filter based on multiple cell color, because even with this technique, you would only be able to filter based on one single color. For example, if I apply the filter here and then I go here, you can see that it shows me two colors. But if I select any of these colors, the data would be filtered based on the selected color. It is not going to allow me to filter this data based on two colors. So let me show you how to do this using a very simple VBA method. Here I have this data set where I have multiple colors. So I have rows that are in green color as well as orange color. And I want to filter all the colored rows. So I want to filter this data so that I can see the green and orange color both at the same time. But this cannot be done using the earlier two methods I've covered, because that allows you to only filter based on one single color. So what we are going to do is use a very simple VBA code to create a function, and that function is going to give us the index value of these colors. And once we have these values in another separate helper column, then we can easily filter based on these multiple values. So let me show you how it works. First, I'm going to create a helper column. So let me call this helper, or you can call this anything you want. Then I'm going to create a very simple VBA code, and I have that code here with me. You can copy this code from the description. So I would have this code in the description of this video. Now I'm going to click on the developer tab here and then click on the Visual Basic option. And when I do that, it is going to open the VB editor. If you do not see the developer tab, you can also use the keyboard shortcut Alt F11. So you hold the Alt key and then press the F11 key. And in the VB editor, I'm going to click on this insert option in the menu and then click on module. And when I do that, it is going to insert a new module and a module code window where I'm going to copy and paste the code. So here I have this code. Let me copy this. I'll come here and I will paste this code. Now what this code does is it creates two functions. The first function is called GetCellColor. This takes one cell reference as the input argument, and it is going to give me the numerical value that would be the cell color index. For example, in this case, it is going to give me a value that represents green color. And in this case, it is going to give me a value that represents orange color. So what it is giving me is the color index value of the cell. So I'm going to come here, and now because I've already added the code here in the VB editor, I can close this, and now I can use these functions as regular worksheet functions in Excel. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to type get, and as I'm typing, you can see that these function names appear in the IntelliSense. It's here GetCellColor and GetCellFontColor. So in this case, because I do not have a different font color, I have cell color, I'm going to go with this function, and it is going to take one single argument, which is this cell reference. And see what happens when I hit enter. It gives me 15, where 15 represents green color in this case. And now when I drag this down, you'll see that wherever I have the green color, the value would be 15. Wherever I have orange color, the value would be 40. And wherever I have no color or no fill color, the value would be minus 4142. Once I have this, I can now filter based on the helper column. So what I'm going to do is select any cell in this data set, or you can select the entire data set, go to the data tab, click on the filter icon. So it applies the filter in the column headers. Now I'm going to come here to the helper column filter icon here, click on it, and then uncheck minus 4142 and keep these two checked, because I want to filter based on green color and orange color, where 15 is for green and 40 is for orange. And now when I click OK, you can see this data set has been filtered where I can see all the colored cells. Now, once you are done, you can remove the helper column, or if you want, you can delete the helper column. Similarly, in this case, I did not have a different cell font color, but in case you have a different cell font color, you can use the function GetCellFontColor, and then again, refer to the cell and use the function. In this case, it gives me 1 because that corresponds to the font color in this cell, and in this case everything would be 1 because I just have one single font color. But let's say if I come here and I change the font color to red for some of these cells, and now I come here and I apply this formula again, you'll see that this value has changed. It has now become 3 for those cells where the font color is different. So you can use either of these formulas. Also, you do not need to copy paste both of these. If you only have cell color, you can just copy the cell GetCellColor function. If you have only font color, you can copy these both, only the GetCellFontColor. And if you have both, then you can copy the entire code. So this is how you can quickly filter by color in Excel. If you only want to filter by one cell color or one font color, then you can use the right click method or the inbuilt filter functionality. And if you want to filter based on multiple cell colors, then you can use a very simple VBA code to create your own function, then create a helper column, get the color index value, and then filter based on it. That's it in this video. I hope you found this useful. Also, if you're liking these videos, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and click on the bell icon so that you never miss out on any new Excel tips video I come up with. Thank you and have a nice day.